This episode of Watch It Played is brought to you by Game On. Looking for great board games?
What about role-playing games?
And collectible card games.
Or miniatures!
Find all this and more, plus great prices and friendly service at Game On in Summerside, Prince Edward Island. If you've come to game on Prince Edward Island, then you've got to come to Game On. Welcome back to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. You guys keep coming back. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I want to say thanks to Drow Metal for contributing to this episode. Drow's been around since the very beginning when we did the Mansions of Madness videos, and I'm glad you stuck around. So, we have some news and updates. The first one is we've selected the new daily power for our newly leveled up rogue. And the one that was chosen was King's Castle. This is the one most people voted for. It allows you to swap positions with one hero within one tile of you and attack one monster within 2 tiles of you. It gives you an attack modifier of 7 and you do 3 damage, and you still do 1 damage even if you miss. So we're going to put that with our rogue cards. That's great, and we'll discard the unused ability. Also, Luke picked his new daily power for his leveled up dwarf. It's Comeback Strike. Attack one adjacent monster. If you hit, you regain 2 hit points. If you miss, do not flip this card over. So it's a +7 attack modifier, and it does a damage of 2. Alright, next we have some corrections to make. The first one is, at the end of the last turn, I forgot to roll to see whether or not this bad luck curse comes off of Luke. So we have to roll a 10 or higher. I'll do that now. 14. So that means this curse is ended, and we'll put it in the discard pile. The other thing, you might remember in the last episode we had a little kerfuffle with the tiles, and so I had to use Wizard of the Coast's patented tap 3 times resorting method. However, as many of you pointed out, I only tapped twice, which is probably why it backfired and there was that big explosion. So if you do it at home and you follow the instructions properly, you probably won't have that problem. The last correction comes from Fonzie the Capybara. He noticed that I was discarding the treasure cards into the encounter discard pile. I don't know, maybe this 720p resolution is going to be a bit of a curse for me because you guys are catching everything. So I will then remove these and put them in the proper discard pile. Thanks for that. Time for questions and answers. The first one comes from Edward PC1. He wants to know, what do you do when you bring out the Dire Chamber entrance tile and you have to put the other Dire Chamber cards around it, but there's no room? For instance, if we had a dungeon where the walls were kind of boxed in around it from our other tiles, there may not be as much room as you would need to lay down all these tiles. Well, it's not a problem. What they say in the game is you only have to lay tiles on the exposed edges of the Dire Chamber entrance. So if there's no room, then you don't have to lay a tile there. It just means you'll have a smaller chamber. And in our case, let's just say we'd only had room to put a total of 2 Dire Chambers down. Then that would mean that with the 4 monsters that we brought out, plus the Goth, they would all have to fit onto those 2 tiles. And you would put the monsters on the scorch marks first, and then the rest of them you just have to put on any available space. Fonzie the Capybara was wondering why, when we drew out the different chamber tiles, we didn't put a monster on each scorch mark. Normally, as you know, when we reveal tiles in the game, we put a monster on each scorch mark. Well, chambers are different. When a chamber is revealed, you get a card that tells you how to populate the chamber and what to do with it. And sometimes you'll end up having to put monsters on each tile, but sometimes you don't. So you just have to follow the rules for the card and you're all set. The next question comes from Cartoons 80s 90s. He says, I knew already from Mansions of Madness that you were a cruel keeper, but I never expected you to keep placing the heroes on the edges of tiles so you can open up more tiles. I understand you wanted to make things interesting and fun, but as things turned out, my advice to the heroes is this: run. Okay, well, I wasn't sure if he was joking or not. I wanted to clarify. The choices that I made to get to the edges, or when you guys have made choices to get to the edges, are not really just to make things more exciting. Remember, we're trying to get through the tile, the stack of tiles that we have, because our objective is buried in there. So really the game forces you to reveal more and more tiles if you're going to complete your objective. But you're probably right. Even if it didn't force me to, I would try to be mean and cruel. Unplayer1088 wanted to know whether I prefer Castle Ravenloft or Wrath of Ashardalon more. To be honest, I haven't played both games. I've only played Wrath of Ashardalon. But but I understand that Wrath of Ashardalon brings out more specific kinds of treasure card items. As well, it introduced the Dire Chambers. It has a built-in campaign mode. So unless you really like the Castle Ravenloft setting, then if you had to choose between one or the other, I would probably recommend this one. But both of them are good, and hey, why not get them both and you can combine them. Cartoons 80s, 90s has a second question. We'll allow it this time. He wants to know, with the Kobold Dragon Shield, what do you do when it's sitting on a tile with no heroes and an unexposed edge, but the unexposed edge has a closed door on it? Remember, if there wasn't a closed door, it would be simple. We would just reveal a new tile and put a monster on it, because that's the tactic that the Kobold Dragon Shield follows. However, with the closed door, does that change things? To my mind, it does. I couldn't find a rule that specifically addressed it, but in my opinion, this is not an unexposed edge until a hero gets over there and opens the door. So if you know otherwise or have a rules reference that you can point me to, please write it in the comments and I'll update that in the next video. Piranha483 has the last question and wants to know, in your turn, how many different item cards can you use and how many different abilities can you use? And specifically, he asks, can you move an attack and still attempt to open the cage, for instance, that Heskin is trapped in right now? That card actually has directions on it that tells you, instead of attacking, you can attempt to open it. So that would replace your attack action. Now when it comes to items, the items have different things on them. For instance, like this one here says you use it during your hero phase, and that doesn't take up a move or attack action. This one says use it during your hero phase. This one says use it when you take damage. This one says play it immediately. So using your items does not take up actions unless, now I haven't gone through all of them here, unless it specifically said it did, you would consider it a free action that you can take. Ability cards are a little more specific. For instance, when you're attacking, you have to choose which one of the ability cards you want to use. Usually it's going to be an at-will power, but occasionally you'll use a daily power, which is a more powerful attack. Utility powers are different though, because those are not attack powers. They're usually something else. For example, this one here, Inspiring Advice, says you use it when a hero misses a monster with an attack. So on your turn, you've moved, you're now attacking, and you've missed. You can say, okay, I'd like to use this utility power now. In fact, you can use this in another hero's turn. It says here, use when a hero misses a monster with an attack. So it doesn't have to be you. Someone else could miss, and you could say, hey, I want to use this utility power to help you re-roll. And usually utility powers and daily powers, as soon as you use them, they're one use and they flip over and you don't get to use them again. Unless you're able to get them flipped back over, usually through a treasure card or potentially through an encounter card. There are a few encounter cards that are good, very few. So hopefully that answers your question, and that ends our question and answer segment. And we're back. Andrea's back with ice cream. That's the only way I could convince her to get off the phone and come down here and do this. I had to give her ice cream. What are you, 7?
15.
Okay, so we're ready to begin, and it is our cleric's turn. Now this is kind of a treat, because the player that we chose, Gecko TH, submitted his move through video.
Ooh, fancy.
So let's watch. It's over here.
Our cleric is fairly limited in options right now, so I suggest we move him his 5 spaces to the scorch mark here, and attack our friendly cultist with Sacred Flame. If it hits, we might as well heal the cleric, since unfortunately Vistra is out of range. My hope is that the rogue and wizard can quickly dispatch the enemies they are engaged with, and rendezvous back with the cleric and fighter. With any luck, Vistra and Quinn can fend off the oncoming wave of enemies until their reinforcements arrive.
Pretty good video. I like that.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
and the models looked awesome.
Why haven't you pinned yours yet?
Okay, that's one thing. You know, if you're gonna send me a video, don't make my models look bad. I always feel like I don't even want to play with these anymore when I saw it. I just want to turf them. No, it was wicked. Really nice paint job.
Yeah, it was cool.
Why haven't I done the paint job? Because when I'm not down here doing this, I'm making money so you can go to college and have nice clothes.
I don't want to go to college, I want to go to university. It costs even more.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Our cleric is going to move 5 spaces towards the cultist, and then it's going to attack.
Poor check.
Old Mansions of Madness joke. Where's Harvey when you need him? Harvey would love this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. And the attack is going to be the Sacred Flame. So would you please do me the honor of rolling? We're going to add 6 to this attack. 17. Very nice. 17 plus 6 is 23, more than enough to hit this wimpy cultist. And the nice thing is, if you do hit, what's the benefit of this card? You regain 1 hit point. So we're going to take 1 damage token off of here. Our cultist has 1 hit point, so it is dead. And that means you get to collect, yes, thank you. Let's take that experience point, put it in our pool here. And we collect a treasure card. We got the Throwing Shield. We get to give one of our heroes the Captain America special ability.
That was a good movie.
It was a good movie. You should go see that movie.
Throwing cards and boom!
I keep having these cards, they fly everywhere. This is a card you get to play immediately, and whoever we give it to gains an immediate +2 bonus to AC while this item is in play. That makes sense. It's a shield, so you get higher protection. But you also get to attack one monster within 2 tiles of you. And this action does not count as an attack action. So this is a free attack every turn.
Awesome.
It does a +6 modifier and it has damage of 1.
So who's in trouble right now?
Well, yeah, who do we want to give this to? Let's pause for a second and think about that.
After careful thought, we have decided to give the Captain America Throwing Shield to me!
Yes, well, that wasn't hard. Let's see, we're going to give this to Andrea. We have a reason, though. We have a strategy.
Secret plan!
Oh, you have a secret plan. My kids and their secret plans. Okay, you take this then. We'll put it with the wizard. And now, it is time for the exploration phase, which there's nothing to explore because we're not on the edge of a tile, so we'll move right to the villain phase and draw an encounter card. It's a trap. How exciting. The Rolling Boulder. A giant boulder rolls down the corridor, crushing everything in its way. Place the rolling boulder marker on the active hero's tile. If that tile already has a marker, discard this card and draw a new encounter card. So there is a rolling boulder token. Here it is here. We're going to place it on the tile with the cleric. Trigger the trap during your villain phase. Move the rolling boulder marker 1 tile toward the closest hero. Each hero on the new tile takes 2 damage. Okay, so instead of attacking, a hero on a tile with a trap can try to disable it. You have to roll a dice and you have to get a 10 or higher. So this is going to go with our cleric, and it's going to be activated after the Grell, which is the only other monster card that the cleric has. So we'll start with the Grell first, shall we? The Grell, it's over here in the chamber, and it says here if it's adjacent to a hero, which it's not, so we'll skip it. Then it says if it's within 1 tile, which it's not. And then it says otherwise the Grell moves 1 tile towards the closest hero. So it have to move in this direction. There's no scorch mark to put it on. We'll put it right here. Okay?
Yep.
Perfect. And now it's time for
the Rolling Boulder!
Okay.
Okay, so...
I think we just lost 10 subscribers, I'm sure of it. Okay, so next, what happens here?
Just gained 5. So now it's... So, since it's already on a tile with the hero, it's just going to do 2 damage to this guy.
Alright, so we're going to put 2 damage on here. So if the cleric on another turn happens to run away from this boulder, it's going to chase whichever hero is closest. So that's the end of the cleric's turn. Exciting stuff. We got boulders chasing us around here, not just monsters. And it's time for Heskin, our wizard. You ready to do this?
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to see your secret plan. I know what her plan is. It's not a real secret. Okay, so it's your hero phase. Let's get started. Hey, you hear that?
What's that?
That must be the Watch It Played YouTube helpline. Hi. Yeah? What? We did what? Oh, you're right, we did. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, we can fix that. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, she's here. She's here. Yeah, no, you can't talk to her, no. I know she's cute. Yeah. No, you can't have her number. No, listen, just stop calling here.
Awkward!
All right, well, there was some useful information in that call. We forgot about the walls of magma. Our cleric ended his turn adjacent to a wall. Yeah, it's just the corner of a wall, but for the rules, that's still considered adjacent. So we're going to give the cleric 1 damage token. And now, it's the wizard's hero phase.
Woo!
Okay, so what would you like to do for your turn? Remember, you're trapped in a cage.
Yeah, I know.
So what do you want to do?
Use my throwing shield
yes.
to attack this guy right here.
The kobold? Alright, so you're
Yeah.
going to roll the dice, and what do we get for a modifier? 6. We're rolling. A 2! 2 plus 6 is an 8.
Oh,
I don't think 8 is going to be enough. So we'll put that back. The Cobalt, I mean, it's pretty small. It's a hard target to hit. You can't be blamed. The other awesome thing about this Captain America throwing shield is you still get to use a regular at-will or daily power attack. So which one do you want to use?
The one I always use, Arc Lightning.
Alright, so we're going to use the Arc Lightning.
It look like waves.
Lightning leaps from your outstretched hands, blasting your... Careful, the equipment there. Sheesh. To send you back to Hogwarts. Okay, so you're going to get to roll the dice. You have to pick your target. Who are you attacking first? The snake. So let's roll. We're going to add... 7. So 6 plus 7 is going to be, what, 13?
Oh,
Is that enough?
13.
Oh, nice. The snake
Yeah.
has got 13 AC. That defeats it. We'll put this away. And we'll collect the card, and you will get a treasure. Or the party will get a treasure, I should say. The Wand of Fear. You get to use this instead of an attack. You choose a tile within 1 tile of you and place each monster on that tile up to 2 tiles away from you. So basically, you're making them scurry away. So who should we give this to? This was a tough one. I'm not sure who to give this one to, really. I'm not sure who will benefit the most in the long run, but our cleric right now is hurting the most, so maybe we should give it to him in case he gets swarmed.
I'm sorry, I had to yawn.
Am I boring you here?
No, I'm just a little tired.
Okay. End of a long week at school, I understand. Okay, so we've given the Wand of Fear to our Quinn. Oh yes, you're still attacking. You've got another the Orc Archer. So let's roll and add 6 and see what happens. Or sorry, add 7. Oh, 17. There we go, that's a hit. And the Orc Archer has an AC of 13 and only 1 hit point. So this one's dead.
Nice.
Really nice. Okay. One thing before we move on to the exploration phase, we do have 2 snakes in play. So we had to take the snake card from the next player in line if you go clockwise around the table. So that's why we took it from Tarak and not the one from Vistra, our dwarf fighter.
I pointed that out, just saying.
Yes, very good, Andrea, very good. So it is the exploration phase now, and because we didn't get to the edge of a tile, we're not drawing a tile, so we move right into the villain phase. And we have to draw an encounter card. Volcanic vapors, this is a hazard. Cracks in the floor expel poisonous vapors from the magma pools below. Place the volcanic vapors marker on the active hero's tile. You got hiccups or something over there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like,
You got the hiccups curse. If that tile already has a marker, discard this card and draw a new encounter card. So we'll get the volcanic vapors token here. We're going to put it on the wizard's tile. Now this is bad. This is especially bad because you're trapped in the cage.
Yeah.
So even if you wanted to leave, you can't. So you're stuck in your cage, the vapors are coming up.
Great.
You're hiccuping desperately. You're calling out for help. You would call out for help, but the hiccups are choking you back. We need someone to come and save you and get you out of this cage. Okay, as bad as this is, we still have to activate your monsters. You've got a cave bear. Actually, we've got 2 cave bears on the table. Both of them are going to activate. The first one here is not within range of a hero, so it's just going to move 1 tile closer. This cave bear is also not within range, so it's going to move 1 tile closer. And that ends your monsters. All right. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, guys, this is the end of the video. The next turn is going to be our rogue. We'll be making its move, so please submit your turns to the YouTube channel or do a video. Do a video like Gecko did. You don't have to have a whole setup like he did. That was great. Thank you, Gecko. But even if you want to draw out the map and do it that way.
Draw little figures.
Draw little figures, little stick figures. We don't care. You can even just point the camera at yourself and tell us what you want to do. But the more you play it up, the better. We kind of like goofing around here. Do you think they've noticed that?
Yeah.
I imagine they've noticed. All right, thanks for tuning in. And the next time you see Andrea, the hiccups will be gone.
Hopefully.
All right, bye.